Hi, everyone. I always do that. I go, hi, everyone, and I lift myself up in the chair. I've got to stop that. How is everybody doing? Did you guys watch the video or the stream? Is it raining in Tally? This is ridiculous. It wasn't when I left the courthouse and came into the office. It wasn't then. How is everybody? Good? It was kind of entertaining. I'm always entertained by people in court, though, so it is. And just watching, other people waiting for their hearings. It was packed. So there were other people. Okay, let me stop because I'm excited. I'm Patty Wilson. This is Patty's Playhouse. I have to take a deep breath. Okay, so I got there. I was the first one, which is not unusual. And shortly after that, Mentor Lawyers media guy came in behind me. His name is Dimitri. Very nice. He remembered me from the last one. So Mentor Lawyer wasn't there, but his guy was there. Couldn't get into the courtroom yet because they were doing hearings. So the judge's assistant was like, no, just wait outside. So I did. Shortly afterwards, Kendall Brandt came from WTXL, and Jeff Burlew came from Tallahassee Democrat, and the gal from WCTV came. And WTXL introduced me to their new senior reporter, which was nice. And so we were just kind of chatting. And then they all asked, it was just like, how long do you think the hearing is going to be? I thought it was going to be much longer because, of course, we knew that Jackie Fulford was the estate judge for Dan Markel. And I was like, well, it's kind of a matter of rote. You don't really have contact with the family members in the estate. The judges, it's the easiest gig they have, I bet. And I was like, I don't know how long that's going to take. I didn't know if there were hearings before us. So anyway, go in, and there was all of these attorneys sitting there. So the entire jury area was full of attorneys. So there had to be 30 in there. There's more jury seats in there than there are seats for the public. So there were at least 30. And one of those attorneys was Collins, who was Luis Rivera's attorney. He was sitting in the front row. I don't know why. I guess they were all like, we got to watch this because it was. So Everett comes in. I didn't even notice Donna. She was like crouched down. Like she was like that, completely crouched down. She was literally sitting like this. And I was like, she doesn't want to be seen this time. So she was crouched down. If you saw it, it was Dan Rashbaum. It was Josh Zellman, who was very polite. He was like smiley face going into the courtroom because we saw him out when we were in the lobby. And then Jackie Fulford was already in there. So she must have been in there from something else. And then, because I didn't see how, we're friends on Facebook, but I don't really think about it. It's not like I know her. And then I was waiting for like Georgia. They didn't come in. They had this attorney, Fuchs was his name. And I was like, where's Georgia? So, obviously she couldn't come in. So she had him in there. But she was still like that the whole time. Went over the data, went over any conflicts. Immediately there was a sidebar with Fuchs, which must have been about Jackie Fulford being the probate judge. It was no big deal. I didn't think it would be, but I knew they were going to have to address it. They talked about the September 5th motion, which I believe was the Robert Adelson motion. And I said, so I shared that earlier today. And that was the only one in camera. And they wanted to, of course, remove Robert Adelson from the witness list, but I don't think that's going to happen. And then it was, what else? Trial date, June. Shocked by that. Praise the Lord. I thought it was going to be September, but Everett's Everett. So Judge Stephen Everett said, whatever we pick, it's going to be firm. As you know, they extended in 2 days into July just in case, which is smart. Book it out. Last time they did that, but of course they didn't need it. They want to redepose Chris Corbett because he's the hook. He's the hook. And if they bring Charlie in or not, now they can bring Charlie in. Shouldn't be an issue. So it was very interesting. But then Everett says, the judge says, you can take Ms. Adelson downstairs now. And the look on her face, I think she just wanted to hang out with her attorneys for a while. It was done. And they had to bring her out, and she comes right across from us. So I'm in the second bench. And if you don't know Courtroom B, it is 6 people across is all you can fit in the bench. There's only 2 on the right side behind the prosecution. And on the other side, there's 2 rows, but they can only sit 2 apiece. So on that side behind the defense was the victim's advocate and some cutie patootie attorney with dreads. He's very handsome. I'm not going to lie. Black man. He's extremely handsome man. So I'm like looking at them. And then here she comes in her shackles. And she was like, had to really watch what she was walking on. And like she didn't look up at any of us. She was just concentrated on getting out of the courtroom without tripping on wires or the flooring. It's ugly carpet in there. And then that was it. And Fulford stayed for a minute and then left. And then Zelman left. And that was it. I had to beat my truck like Frogger, like I'm going to die. I got a great parking space on Monroe Street where the courthouse is, but dude, I was like, that is so dumb, Patty. But it was less than an hour long because I only had parking for an hour. And I was in and out, and that was it. And we're all going to come together February 11th. And so next to me was a mom, and her daughter must be having a hearing. And the mom was telling the daughter, oh, that's the lady who had her son-in-law killed. That's what she said. That's the lady who had her son-in-law killed. And I looked over at her and I'm like, yeah, that is. And the daughter looked up. She was young. And she looked up and she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. She goes, the woman says to me, she's fine. I said, well, she's 74 years old. She's going to be 75. She goes, she's fine. She's fine. Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened. It was a very small courtroom. There were more attorneys in that courtroom than the rest of us. There were 5 deputies along the wall, and they're all the ones we've seen before if you've been in the courtroom or watch on TV or stream. So there's 5 deputies, 1 female. And I was like, God, they have 5 in here in this little room. And a couple of them, bailiffs, were really old, like older. Court reporter, victim's advocate, which I thought was great that she was there. I hadn't noticed that she'd been in. I noticed her last hearing when all hell broke loose, but I didn't notice her at the other hearings. She's very obviously a polite woman. She's the victim's advocate. But it was all attorneys. And the WCTV reporter sitting next to me, to my left, she was like, why are they all here? I'm like, because it is a sight to behold. This whole thing has just been such a wreck. And that's why they were there. They were taking notes. The attorneys were taking notes. So it was very interesting. Every time you go down there to a Donna, any Adelson hearing or any more, it is a new learning experience every time. It's crazy. Our photographer's back, Adelson. I think that's about it as far as an update. So let me get to the comments real quick. Hello, everybody. Gosh. I expect this case to be manipulated, stalled, and detoured. It won't be. Judge Everett won't have it, YB. He was completely, he said he had to check with the missus about July, but he said other than that, it will absolutely be a firm date. And that's what they did with Charlie. Firm date. and Daniel Rashbaum is not allowed to speak to Donna because there would be no privilege. There would be no attorney-client privilege at this point. So he wouldn't be speaking. Carl thinks it's manipulation and that Daniel Rashbaum wouldn't do that intentionally. Well, Carl's a nicer person than I am. That's all I can say to that, YB. Donna has the right to a speedy trial and also right to counsel of choice, all appellate issues as well. You might even see a bond hearing. She will never get bond, and that won't ever happen. Because in Florida, you get no bond for murder. So that won't happen. I just checked the Florida bar, and there is no judgment on Daniel Rashbaum yet, one way or the other. Oh, there's definitely a puppet master. The only person who would have known that Jackie Fulford was the judge in the estate case is Wendy Adelson. There's no one else. Oh, I don't think Daniel Rashbaum was offered money to tank it. I just think he tanked it because he tried to get away with it. Okay, I'm going on from YB. I'm still looking at notes. I'm sorry. Gosh. Beach Bum and YB have had quite the conversation. Hi, Granny. How are you? Hi, Tennis Girl. Hi, Kaza. Thank you so much for the like and subscribe. The next hearing is, in fact, February 11th, 2025. And I'm so grateful that they moved the Brooks Houck trial. So I'll be able to be there. I bet that one gets moved again. That's the Crystal Rogers case. 8:40 p.m. in the UK. Good evening, lovies. Hey, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Michael, there was a camera today, and it was on WCTV, so I'm going to show it if you didn't see it. Hello, Playhouse Patty, when she gets here. I'm there. I was here earlier, but I had to do some phone calls, do some business. I was at the hearing. I didn't know about a camera going off, so I didn't know. But I was in the courtroom the whole time. I went to the hearing. That's right. So in camera, in what Shelley is saying, means with the judge without a camera. So it's a private, it's like in chambers is a better, like if you watch any of the law, you know, any law and order kind of thing, they're in chambers, which means in camera. It's stupid. I don't know why they just don't call it what it is, but they don't. I'm excited to hear from Patty. Well, here I am, Michael. I still don't know. Is that Jameis Winston? Is that a Cleveland Bengals profile? Is that my Jameis? Who you got in there? Only WCTV showed the hearing. Other people there's just no room in there. So that media area, you don't know my office. So like 1, 2, 3. That media room is literally the size of my desk, and that's it. You walk into the door, you'll hit somebody. There's room for one person in that media room. So they probably couldn't have done it. Is that a black and white photo of a young Beverly in Patty's thumbnail or whatever it's called? Patty's thumbnail. No, the black and white was, what did I do? I don't even remember what I did. Today's been like that. One is a man. No. That's Jackie Fulford. One to the guy to the right is Josh Zellman, and the one to the left is Jackie Fulford. And you got to hear her. I mean, she comes off like a New Jerseyite. She's short, she's tiny, she's clearly fit. Like she runs or rides horses or some shit like that. Like she's She's fast. I don't know where she's from. Hold on. Where is she from? She can't be from here. She's way too, does it say where she's born? No. I was looking at her. She was born in Okeechobee, Florida, where her grandparents owned a dairy business, and her father, Larry Fulford, spent a lifetime working in the cattle business. So she's a farm girl. She is fit and tiny. She's probably 5'1" at the highest. Yeah, definitely an outdoor girl. I'm just looking at her biography on her funeral home website. So bizarre. But anyway, I mean, I would have been a great funeral director. Just saying. But she's tiny and fit, and she walks. When she walks forward. So she walks like, to me, it's people from New Jersey. She walks like with her hands out in front of her, and she's fast. She's like little zip, tiny. Patty, I look glowy. I changed where my lighting is because I got this. I still have this shadow here. That would help. No, that's better. A little better. It's the shadow that bugs me. Supposed to get rain tomorrow. Do I go to the hearings, Patty? Yes, I do. I've been to every hearing that I could since before Charlie. I just didn't have a YouTube channel. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, choo. I hope everyone is doing good. I am doing well. Thank you. Patty in the wild. Yeah, it feels like it. You have Santa Ana winds. It was windy today. It was very windy today. Creative Minds forgot I'm here. I'm here. Does anyone know when Lewis is scheduled to be released? It is a long time. Hold on. I think he has like several more years. But his attorney was in the courtroom today. Dude, where is he? Oh my God. Here I go and put in Luis Rivera. I don't know what his number is. That's so funny. I'll have to look him up. He's in. I know he's in Mariana. Oh, one escaped. That was a long time ago. Mariana, here he is. It doesn't. Oh, release date 5/16/2026. But that's just federal. So once he's done federal, he does state. Thank you, Paula. Mod Squad and chat peeps. Hey, Wesley, how are you? So our friend Melody is at Allendale. Melody Walker Ferris got moved to Allendale State Prison, which is where they do the processing for the inmates in Georgia. They don't have as many prisons as we do here in Florida. Thank you, Patricia. It's very nice of you. Waves to all. Hi, Jill. Hi, Melissa. I'm going to play it. You like my top? Well, my earrings are Santa, and they're leather. You can feel like they're soft. They're soft. I have an event tonight. We have, it's called Tallahassee Quarterbacks Club, and we are meeting Doug Flutie. So I only have like 20 more minutes before I got to chop, 25 maybe. Hi, Zach. Hi, Bling. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, Bling. How are you? Hey, Murder. Hey, dude, murder. Did you see that weapon that idiot, that Luigi, I don't want to say his name, but anyway, the assassin had was a 3D printed weapon and a 3D printed silencer. I didn't know if you knew. I tagged you, but I didn't know if you did. Everett did not come to play today. Nope, he ain't playing. Hello, Gladys, my nosy neighbor. I heard those hearing transports are horrible, and she had to do all that for 12 minutes of court. Hey, she's been there all day. They only do like 1 or 2 transports, whatever will fit in the van. She's been there all day, sitting in a cell, annoying the staff. You know she is. Donna was having issues walking because she's shackled. Everett, don't play. She is shackled, hands, even when she's sitting there, waist and ankles. She ain't getting away. And then 5 deputies. 5 deputies this far from her. It is a tight room. It is a tight, tight, tight room. Ooh, yes, she was. Donna Sue lives. I'm telling you. Okay, so this heifer has been in jail for a full year now, and she looks better than Melody Ferris looked in like 4 weeks. Oh, 20 minutes, enough for me to get to my car before my parking expired. Hi, my father's alibi. How are you? I got to do a video on our friends. I'm going to do a video tomorrow on our friends. The courtroom was packed. No, she was not there, but every attorney in town was. It felt like, so 30 attorneys across in the jury area, 2 standing in the back, 2 attorneys over on the defense side, just sitting on the benches over there where they bring the inmates in. So about 32 attorneys that was there. It was a lot. Thank you for sharing my father's alibi. I appreciate it. Georgia was not there. This guy, attorney, let me look him up. Attorney Fuchs was the one there. John Stewart Fuchs. They call it Fuchs, but this is what, I would call it Fuchs, but I'm not like that. So it's Fuchs. Tall dude, super duper tall. And he was there on behalf of Georgia Cappleman. So neither of them were there. He is a felony division D chief. So he is the boss. Let's see. Oh no, Sarah Dugan's the chief in felony C, and he's under her. And Georgia is the chief for felony division D. Interesting. I never saw this page before. Interesting. You look really dramatic. I wanted to give Adelson an eye, but she didn't even look up. She was only looking down a walk. Thank you, tennis girl. Dude, I got to tell you, Allison, I was watching the video with your friend, your mom's friend, Allison, and I don't know, I was in a mood, but I was like so teary to me, like teary, because that was her letter that you're so nice that her mother wrote. It's just a lot. It was so emotional for me. Hey, your latex spouse. Yeah, Collins was there. And one of the reporters pointed him out to me. She was so nice. She was like, Patty, do you know about Jackie Fulford? Yes, I do. She said, do you know this? She goes, I think that's Sigfredo's. And Then I had to really look at him. She goes, he's the one in Monticello. I said, no, that was Luis Rivera's attorney. So it was Luis Rivera's attorney was in there. But there were, I mean, I can't believe they didn't put out cocktails. Because with that many attorneys, usually there's cocktails involved. For sure. No, she was not there and she did not say hello. But I'm going to do a little episode, like I'm the church lady, on Miss Thing. Calling, I know who she's calling out. And she knows it's going to get back to me. And she doesn't allow comments and she doesn't allow responses. So I'm going to give her a full hour of responses. He only has taint here. He doesn't have taint anywhere else. You're not going to have taint in Miami for having a conflict. That's not going to happen. They don't care. If Wendy was charged with only conspiracy, could she bond out if she could afford it? Hi, Georgia Peach. How are you? Rashbaum is incompetent and greedy. Dan, like his clients, thinks they're outsmarting everyone. I've always believed Wendy was the mastermind. You imagine watching your mom hobble across the courtroom, like hobble, like her ankles were broken, hobble, and you don't do anything to help. Not that she's not guilty, because I believe she is, but I think her daughter's guiltier than her. And every day that goes on, I think more and more so of that. And that woman's just out living her best life. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit. Cute Santas, thank you. You said it was a short hearing. It was a short hearing. So what happened during the hearing? I hope you read it. I think it is the Cleveland Browns. Bernie Kosar, your favorite. I think you told me that before. But here in Tallahassee, we love Jameis. And he just looks like he's having so much fun being your quarterback now. He just looks like he's just having a blast. You did have to vent. Well, good for you. In camera is the most legalese wording. And it's not even your in camera. It's a misnomer, which I guess is legalese. You have to have lovely hair if you're a woman pretending to be a man. Thanks, Bobby. Love it. God, it's probably only been like 2 weeks since someone asked me if I was a trans. And I'm not even lying. Not even lying about it. So you'll have this. But I do have great hair. Did she ride a two-headed horse? I don't know. But she looks fit. Oh, 2 horses with 1 ass. Yeah, I get it. In camera is a Latin phrase. Of course it is. Means in chambers. Oh, good for you. In camera is a Latin phrase that means in chambers or in private. Who knew that? And I took Latin and I didn't know or didn't remember. I took Latin and, went to Catholic school. What did I think of Donna? Well, let's watch it together. Anyone else I missed? I need to say hello to you as a whole, not as a romper room teacher, mom, because I want to show this video because I didn't get to watch it. I was there. But it's like anything else. You don't really get to see anything when you're seeing something. So we're going to use the WCTV feed and do. All right, ready? It's probably going to make me watch an ad again. I apologize.
Look up a cell phone number.
See what I'm saying?
In tedious.com, find name, address.
The issue of any prior representation, which I believe made it necessary to disqualify the previous attorneys for the defendant. That does not appear to be an issue here. The court is aware of the fact that Ms. Fulford did handle as a judicial officer the probate of Daniel Markell. However, my review of that matter as well does not reveal anything unusual or abnormal as it relates to any probate case that would be handled in this circuit. Does the state have any issue that it needs to raise concerning the conflict checks and the response to the court that has been offered?
Nothing other than what was discussed at sidebar, Your Honor.
Very well. Moving on to the issue of discovery, Mr. Zellman, Ms. Fulford, did you receive discovery without annotation from prior counsels?
Yes, Your Honor. We've received limited items from prior counsel. We had a phone conference last week with both Ms. Kappelman and Ms. Dugan. Their office is going to be providing us with hard copies or electronic copies, rather, of all of the deposition transcripts rather than trying to secure them from prior counsel, as well as all of the exhibits from the prior trials and any additional materials. They're working with us on that. Their legal assistant is out until tomorrow, so when she's back in, we'll contact her to get those materials. Other than that, the state did provide each, both Ms. Fulford and myself, with complete copies of all the materials, all the discovery.
Deadlines always seem to help move things along. Mr. Fuchs, please convey to Ms. Kappelman and Ms. Dugan all discovery that is going to be turned over as far as prior depositions, transcripts, exhibits, things of that nature. That needs to be accomplished by February 11th.
Yes, Your Honor.
As to any depositions you may need to take yourself, Mr. Zellman, have you identified any, or is this too early in the process?
We've identified a few that Ms. Fulford and I have discussed. We have not yet spoken with Ms. Kappelman or Ms. Dugan about who those individuals are. I think that once we have that conversation, it'll be obvious why we want to take those depositions, but I don't anticipate it would be many of the witnesses.
Have any of these witnesses been previously deposed by the former counsels?
Potentially one has, that would be Mr. Corbett. But aside from that, I don't think that we intend to re-depose anyone who has previously been deposed in Miss Adelson's case.
Very well. As to when you may think you're ready to go to trial, do you have any preliminary, musings on that issue? No.
Yes, Judge. We had a phone conference with both of the prosecutors and review of your calendar. And although it's not established this way on your calendar, we were able to identify a trial period that all of us would be available, as well as the witnesses that we have. That trial period would have been June the 16th to July the 2nd. Not sure if Your Honor would be able to make that available to us, but that's when we all were available to try the case.
I would need to check my personal calendar because we all answer to someone and I answer to Mrs. Everett.
Yes, sir.
Whether or not I'm available the first week of July, I cannot tell you at the moment, but I will check.
Well,
I
in
think
your
the
honor,
anticipation is that it would end on the Friday before that first week of July. It would really encompass the July 4th holiday, I think is what it is.
Yeah, that was just out of an abundance of caution, adding those 2 days.
Before we discuss a firm trial date, and again, any trial date we said, I want to be clear on this, is going to be firm. There's too much logistics that are involved with moving prisoners, with everyone who needs to be brought to here for making this trial actually happen. So when that trial date is set, it is going to be firm. However, you will have the time that you need to prepare.
Thank you, Judge.
Does the defense need to be heard further today?
We have 2 other issues you wanted to hear.
yes, Your Honor, yesterday I filed a unopposed motion to unseal proceedings on a limited basis. I provided a proposed order, but I also have a hard copy of the proposed order. May I approach?
You
This
may.
motion eliminate.
Yes.
This is the matter handled in camera, I believe, prior to the trial that did not take place.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor, and my understanding from Ms. Cattleman that she is, because it was sealed, that she is requesting that the court order it unsealed for the limited purpose of providing to the defense counsel, and then a resealed, which I believe is what was contained in the proposed order that was just given, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's just being unsealed for the very limited purpose of us getting this. It's not a full unsealing of that proceeding.
Right, as to that, I will go ahead and grant that motion to unseal, so that way the defense will have access to the record that was developed during the hearing on September 5th. Any other matters from the defense?
Just one, Your Honor. We want to make certain that we don't run afoul of your order with respect to the prior conflict of counsel. They had retained one or more investigators who did interviews of certain witnesses, and we just want to know whether we would be able to use the same investigators, or does the court prefer, and do you believe your ruling indicates that we need to go steer clear of everything they did and do our own?
Like everything in life, it depends what was discussed between the prior counsels and the investigators.
Yeah.
Your Honor, to be honest, because of your order disqualifying, we have not even spoken with the investigators that were previously retained because we did not want to create a conflict.
I can speak to the investigators in camera if you desire, but at the moment, it's probably best to consider them the fruit of the poisonous tree.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Fuchs,
No position on that, Your Honor.
then not as to that. Does the state have anything to raise?
No, Your Honor, nothing further, other than, again, what was discussed at that work.
Let's go ahead and set a follow-up case management then for February 11th at 2:30 in the afternoon. At that point, I believe all discovery, depositions, exhibits should be turned over prior to that date. Any depositions that the defense is seeking to take, including another deposition of Sergeant Corbett, go ahead and have those set at that point. And at that time, if it's possible, we will go ahead and set the trial date and establish all other deadlines. Discovery cutoff will be a part of any deadlines that will occur. However, you will have the benefit of what has already occurred in the case. Does either party have more to get into before we finish up?
Just the matter that we're doing off the record.
Very well. You can take Ms. Adelson back downstairs. That will conclude the case management. Let's move on to the other matters on this afternoon's docket.
Your Honor, do you want to do the in-camera today?
Yes.
Okay. So
I know. What's that? No.
Her jumpsuit looks fresh. How was that? Her jumpsuit looks so fresh. I do love to bring it up. So whenever someone like trolls or whatever, or calls me a tranny, I don't care. I find that it upsets the people in the chat more than it could ever upset myself. But I like addressing it because if I address it, they typically sneak away on their own or they'll keep going. And I find it comical. So that's why we don't typically eliminate these ass hats from the chat. It's so funny. So murder, I mean, we could talk about this another time, but I don't know that Luigi is like, something just doesn't make sense to me. A lot of it doesn't make sense to me. Like you said, you have a 3D printed ghost gun, and yet you're carrying a gun, a 9mm on your person when you're at the McDonald's. Some of it doesn't make sense. So something got back to me, and just in brief, when you're a public person, which someone who has a YouTube channel, even if she only has 400 subscribers now, she used to have more. They are a public person. It is really hard to sue for defamation when you're a public person. And defamation is a civil, not a criminal. So threatening me with arrest is really stupid because it could never happen. So carry on. Thank you for going to the hearing, Patty. I will start a fundraiser. I don't have a fundraiser, but that is funny. That is funny. So the only thing that's changed in here is Erica was here earlier today. She's my assistant. We moved some lighting around, and I put a black mat under my keyboard because when I walked in, I looked like Donald Trump face. Like my face was orange. And I was like, no, we got to figure this out. I don't know why the lighting is so picky with me, but that's why. So I put a black, it's actually photo film that you use like if you're going to take photos and put them on Instagram or something, or put them on Poshmark. So I had the black down here. I put a whiteboard, it's right over here to my right. It still gave me a shadow, but it's better than it was. It's better than it was. I have great hair. Geez, some people's kids. I do have great hair. Thank you. Thank you, Colorado. It's nice to see you. And there was, where's Baker? Where's the, I saw a name I had not seen before in here. I'm going to lose it. It probably was way back. Oh, here it is. Broken Baker. So welcome. Nice of you to join us. Oh, yeah. So, nice. Thank you for joining us. Have fun. I will. I'm going to meet. I got to get there early so I can get a photo with Doug Flutie because I think I'm taller than him. I think he's my height. But everyone else I've had a photo with this whole season has been so much taller. Roberta at KCL made a rant that's since been taken down, making general threats. Oh, yeah, she's likely wasn't sober. But I got a synopsis because she took it down too quickly. Where was I in the court? So, oh, I took it off. Let me see. I took it down. I don't see. Yeah, I took it down, but let me see real quick. Let me stream this real quick across. Ads. Skip the ad. Can't skip the ad.
For that first week is
We have not even,
February discovery.
Your Honor, do you want to do the in-camera today?
Let me show you where, I mean, it was so tight in there. I'm going to show you where I was.
Today?
Yes.
Okay. So
When she starts hobbling across. So these two guys, let me slow it down. Wait a minute. So those two guys that were sitting on this bench, they had courthouse badges on, but I don't know who they were. There were two of them. This guy right here, I don't know who it was. This is where the jury box is, and you could see all the attorneys kind of sitting there. Right here, let me back it up just a tad. That's where I was when she was looking down right there. You're like, she never looked up at me. So I don't know if she saw me there or not. You see all the attorneys? Look at all of them. This guy right here was Luis Rivera's attorney, the guy in the blue. See him? Look at all. Ton of them. And there she goes. Hey, Neely, how are you? Hi, Seagate. I don't think I said hi to you. Is she back? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. She's back. I still haven't watched an episode, but she's back and she turned off her comments. Because she's chicken about what people are going to say. Next court appearance, she'll show up with a walker. Well, she really, I mean, she almost needed one. They had to help her out because there's wires in there, you know, there's stuff, and it's very, very small. Saggy, old, leaky-eyed hag. I thought she looked fabulous. She looked better than when they arrested her. She really does. She just, I know she's being dramatic, but facially, like her skin and everything, she got nothing on that Melody Ferris. KCL is butthurt that you're thriving, and most people saw her for what she is. The unraveling is real. Do you know it's been months, though? It has been months, the Jen show. Months and months and months of this shit going on. 3 months. Months. Was Donna crying in the end? No, she did look upset. And we could kind of hear her gasp when, like, she goes, when the judge said you can go back downstairs, because she didn't want to go downstairs. She didn't want to go downstairs. She did not look at me that I know of because it was so tight. I had two defense. Do you remember back in the Charlie Adelson trial, the girl that got removed because the juror kind of pointed her out and said, "You're being loud"? That girl was there. She's a defense fan always and forever. So I don't really talk to her because I just don't have time for it. She's very young. She's like 20 years old, somewhere in there. And of course, she wasn't making noise, but that juror was insane. So he was just like lashing out because he thought he could. And so she was there with some other lady who works in the courthouse. And then Jeff Burlew, and then the photographer. So you could not, and the photographer was right in my eyesight of Donna. And she has that big camera. And so she was taking photos. So you can't really see Donna. How does a 26-year-old with all the wealth and privilege, double computer major from UPenn, plenty of money for his own health, and end up murdering someone? Make it make sense. You know? I don't have any way to make it make sense. But you know what I do know? I bet there were other murders in New York City. And I bet if they all spent the same amount of time and money they did to find this Yahoo, they could have found those. Obviously. I mean, New York prosecution doesn't want to find anybody. So I have nothing nice to say about this entire process. And I'm like, I know a man was killed and he had a family and the whole thing, but good luck getting a group of jurors to find this man guilty without having some sort of manic, mania, insane defense that he snapped. I mean, one guy shot Donald Trump, shot at him, hit his ear. We know more about Luigi than we do. I can't remember that guy's name. So nothing is equal in the justice system. But I would really like to know how hard the rest of New York City is working to find the other people that were murdered that same day or the next day. It's crazy to me. She is heavier. She's definitely heavier than she was. Local South Florida girl here cannot wait for complete justice. JoJo's G. That is really, really hard to say. She had fancy hair. She had a full-on bun in the back. She had it pinned up like a ponytail with an extra pin. Rivera's attorney is a public defender. He is private, but he was on the wheel, as they say. So he was on the wheel. His last name's Collins. So Luigi apparently didn't talk to his family. They did barely recognize him, but the chick from McDonald's did. Did you see the tweet from Burger King, which I thought was very funny? I don't know if it's made up or if it was real, but it was like Burger King posted on Twitter X, "We don't snitch." So, Patty, what else has she to talk about but her victimization? Oh, 100%. I mean, we're going to hear it, I bet. Oh, you saw it pop. Oh, you're talking about. See, I'm still talking about Donna. You're talking about KCL. I saw that pop up on my screen. She was attacking a few people, including victims of crimes. She wouldn't name names. She keeps people. The people are telling her, "I think she is watching your show." I know she is. I know she is, and that's fine because I don't care. I have nothing to hide. But if you're going to come out and say, that was PA. If you're going to come out and say someone is threatening your stepdaughter, you better name names. I named names when someone was threatening me. Why don't you just name names? Don't make it a secret. Don't make it more dramatic than it is. If someone is threatening this little girl, name names. If you're afraid for your life, name names. If you're telling that girl that she needs to be afraid for her life, then you need to be hauled in to DCF because that's insane. If you don't go to law enforcement and you allow that girl to live in fear, then that's on you. KCL keeps saying she's going to stop ranting, but then she does it again. It's just... Who is attacking homicide survivors? She's just making ish up so she has a reason to play a victim. Girl, man, I'm sorry her sister was a victim of domestic violence. Nobody wants that in their family. Look at, did you guys see the brother? Barton is his name, Barton Simpson, who was Suzanne Simpson's brother-in-law. And he came out and said, you know what? You need to do the right thing to his brother, Brad. But of course, Brad won't do it. And I was like, what a stand-up guy that is. He doesn't want to go through a court. He wants his brother to tell the truth about where Suzanne is. Nobody wants this in their family. It's despicable behavior. Nobody wants to find their sister in a desert. Nobody. I have no problem. I have no problem standing up for that. What I have a problem is if you throw it around to people that have nothing to do with the crime as if we're a part of the crime and we're nothing to do with that crime. And no one even really mentions it but you, KCL. You're the only one who fucking mentions it. You're it. You mention it to everyone that will listen and those that won't. Like, oh my God, all of us have shit lives. We really do. Some of us might have better hair, but overall, our lives are all shit. We all have bad families. We all have parents that probably didn't listen to us the way our therapist would. We all have had it. Name a person who came out of this unscathed. Name one that had such a glorious life. With macaroni salad, I just remember that from Nicholson's rant in As Good as It Gets. We just don't all get that. There's a kid, wealthy as hell. Parents own country clubs and golf courses and nursing homes. Lost his mind. Completely lost his mind. We don't all just sit and wail and wrench about our past. If you want to do that, that's on you. But if you put it on a stepchild that she needs to be afraid, that is also on you. Because no one is threatening you. If you have threats, do what I do. I did against Rob Myers. Go to law enforcement. Go. But otherwise, shut up. I mean, you can't just say people are threatening you and try to make people scared when they've done nothing. I'm the one who had to put freaking cameras outside of my building. I am the one who had to call law enforcement. Roberta's the one who had to call law enforcement. Take your Dreamweaver shit someplace else. I'm not yelling, just FYI, book your hotel for June 16th. I know, too. You're not yelling. You're funny. I mean, you just can't go on about that and say that people are being mean to your stepdaughter, who we don't know. I've never even seen a photo of her, but people are being like, run for your lives. That's how dramatic you are. But yet you're not on the booze. You're not on the bottle. So that's just you naturally. That's a problem. Like if you were on the bottle, I could give you a pass and just say, go get help. But if you're sober this way, I got nothing for you, lady. I got nothing. Hi, the champ. Thank you for following from Denmark. Denmark. I always wanted to go there because of Hamlet, you know. Oh, they need to lose billions since the killing. They needed to lose billions anyway. Before this, I was starting to watch the new Chris Watts piece. Ooh, his girlfriend is in it, probably junk. Yeah, that's one where his children are involved, but you can't look away. I just don't even, the girlfriend he has in prison. Do we know if Detective Corbett is locked into what he testified to before? Can he do more research? I'm sure they could present him with more evidence because it's been a couple years and there's more technology out. But the more it's like when you do voting counts, it never bodes well for the one who wants the recount. It typically doesn't statistically. So the more, it's just like Karen Reed, the more technology available, the worse it gets for the other side. Yeah, he's not getting thrown out. Oh, that would be interesting. That's a good lookup, murder. Oh, I mean, you're going to use your stepchild or any child, doesn't matter which child it is, or the relationship to you against a group of strangers. We're strangers, all of us, who are just minding our own business because you have nothing to talk about, because you pigeonholed yourself. I can't help you. And that goes to Rob Myers and Fancy Fiction AKA Aaron. Don't get me started. You're welcome, Bishan. Pisses me off. Oh, it doesn't make any damn sense. And 3 months is a long time. Move on. There's so much murder to talk about. Go hook your little claws into someone else. Stay out of my way. And that's not a threat, KCL. But I know whatever I say, Kathy Monkman, you're going to spin it to suit yourself and go on another rant with your hair in a turban, which is fine. That's your look. Go for it. But don't. No one is threatening a child over your words. But you going around, if you're telling that kid it, that's abuse. Then go to law enforcement and fess up. Go for it, lady. KCL, please. I'm going to take a picture of that. Slow down. Slow the chat. I am taking a picture of that. KCL came after Allison for chatting in here. She said hello. Allison said hello to the chat. And the Three Stooges came after this woman who's a PhD. I still can't, so much smarter than all three of them put together, including me and Roberta. And you're like, what? What are you doing with your life? What are you doing? We are all survivors in one way or another. Some have had abuse as a childhood, so years of being a victim, not to lessen her pain, but exactly. My dad was Irish Catholic, brutal, cut to the chase. Your ass is fat. And he wouldn't say it like that, but he was close. To me, that's what I heard. It's like, oh, I lost 10 pounds. Well, I know where it went. Things like I thought it was funny then. I still think it's funny now. But a lot of people outside of our family wouldn't have thought it was funny. You just get through it. I didn't get a car at 16. I was one of 7. You get through it. And the bad times is what helps you to learn. You do not learn as much with winning as you do with being shit on. And that's just unfortunately a fact. It is a fact of life. Sorry. Being shit on is where I grow. And I talked about it, if you get 20 listings as a real estate broker in a month and you're only used to 2, you're going to lose 2 plus another 10. It's just too much growth too soon. And maybe that's what happened to KCL. Maybe she just got a little too much fame riding on the back end of STS and anyone else she could cling to instead of her own growth and her own personhood. She's always clinging to someone else, so she doesn't even know who she is. And that's sad to me. That is very sad. But I can't fix it, and I'm not responsible for it. I'm new on the scene. Some of us have better hair. I know I'm starting to write these down, the things I say that are funny, because I always forget. And then I lose my momentum. And everyone has suffered and experienced pain in life. To act like no one can criticize you or your behavior because the pain is ridiculous and childish. And I'm going to go back to one of my favorite people in the world and just say that if you feel that you cannot be criticized, you are childish and selfish. We don't live in a world, the whole entire earth, where you cannot be criticized. Imagine being the people in Syria right now. You're sitting at your lake house, whining about what we say and who we say hello to, and we've got Syria blowing up. People who have nothing, who went from Assad to a new guy in town who's going to be Al-Qaeda, and you want to whine about, literally whine, notice the pun, being at a lake house. And people are mean to you. Dude, give back a little bit. Go volunteer somewhere. And by the way, I don't know who needs to know this, but putting a bark collar on a puppy is probably not the best idea you've come up with. That, dude, you're going to rant and threaten and say that someone threatened a child? Don't come at me, bro, because you will not like the response. You won't. All the dirty details, because you got so much public shit, Kathy. You have so much in the public that you haven't shared that I can find out or have found out. Erin, too. She's the one pulling the damn strings on you, I bet. You need to break free of that woman. She has you coming out showing your ass, and meanwhile, she's in the back, puppet strings, puppet strings. Right? Thank you. See, that's why she has a PhD. If she actually thinks her YouTube channel put her daughter at risk, why would she start another one? Do you think I would do this when I have little kids here in town? Or I don't have any children here in town. Why would I do that? But I'm going to go back to it. Bark collars on puppies are not smart. Dogs need to learn to communicate. And if you block it, you're going to hurt the dog long term. So I know that's going to come out in a rant. It's all in how you deal with what is dealt to you. Amen. Yeah, KCL, that's the least of your worries. I know. She's up whining at the lake house. Whining. You are living for this. Well, I'm going to have a whole hour planned, so I got to go now. I got to go meet Doug Flutie. But do you think KCL? No, she won't. So I know Tim Jansen, his wife won something with the tree decorations or something. And I thought, I wonder if he invited Katie Kool-Aid to his Christmas party. I know. No one else put that baby's face in that. Dude, if I was that girl's mother, we would be in court. If I was that child's mother, we would be in court. First of all, you're not showing my kid's face. You're not. The dinner in Chicago had to be over $800, so her life is lush, a word Patty would say. Oh, yeah, she's living off of daddy's money, 100%. And I have no problem with that. Power to you. I mean, that's fabulous that your dad left you a legacy. But that's the problem. When you have money and you don't have to work or occupy your mind with other than what other people say about you, and what you focus on expands, you have a problem. Like, my husband is retired. I was like, dude, I don't care if you work. I don't care if you don't work. But you need to go do something, because all you're sitting in is making your whatever little things come into your brain bigger than they are. And you were a psych nurse, right? For a few years, just a couple, because I know. So you were a psych nurse, so you know better. Go occupy your mind. Go play bridge. Go do something. I know. I can't even believe that. I never listened to her either, to be honest with you. I didn't even know she had a stepdaughter. Ooh, you shouldn't get me. I gotta go. Roscoe was not threatened. Not that I know of. 2 Danes in one chat. Crazy. I never miss Patty or Roberta if I could help it. KCL didn't get attention as a kid. No, she was the middle child. I was the middle child, so I completely understand. So you know what I did as the middle child to overcome being the middle child of 7? I was a really good kid. I knew what my parents wanted. I knew what the needs were, and I met the needs. So if my dad said, go wash the dishes, I didn't give lip. I went and washed the dishes. Do your homework. You know what I did? I did my damn homework. I did really good things. I helped a lot of people, even as a teen. I volunteered because that was important to them. And you know what? I didn't get the shit on. My siblings did. Some of it's comical to this day. But overall, I didn't get in trouble. That got me in trouble with the siblings, but it didn't get me in trouble with the parents. And I knew what counted. So I did my homework. I did what counted. Go find something to do. And putting your head in a bottle and putting your makeup on in front of a camera is not going to be that thing. You are not Martha Stewart, dude. You're not. Did you see Martha Stewart's videos putting makeup on? Can't stop watching it. Absolutely cannot. You were rebellious. I was not rebellious at all. I did everything they told me to do. If my dad said, go to church 5 times a week, well, in fact, I did. Over the summer, I did. I would go to church 5 times a week. Whatever it was, not even to just not rock the boat, but I was such a parent pleaser and I was good at it, and it pissed the siblings off. A bark collar on a puppy breaks my heart. It's true. It's not healthy for the dog. I love you when you're fired. I'm hoping this burns more calories before I go eat. I'm happy to buy. I can't find a membership link. It's really hard if you have an iPhone. She's finding that thing at the bottom of a puddle. Hey, Sade, I have to go, though. I'm going to be on tomorrow. We'll talk about this some more. But seriously, whoever's listening amongst you three, because, you can't block people on YouTube. Wish you could, but you can't. Don't put a bark collar on a baby dog. It is a baby dog. You don't put a bark collar on a baby, do you? No, you don't. And a puppy is a baby dog. Don't do it because you will damage the dog. They need to be able to communicate with you. Do you know how my dog lets me know? Everyone, I don't know if you've met Roscoe or not, but I should bring him tomorrow because he's just so fucking adorable. Is the dog goes, He can't do that with a bark collar. He can't communicate with me if he needs water or to go out or just needs love. Dude. We'll be on replay coup. You can block people on YouTube. It's easy. Oh, could you please tell me? It is. Oh. That's exactly right, Beach. There are at least 5. No, my dog is a different, when he needs water or his water empty, he comes. Well, he'll toss his water bowl. And then, because it's light, so he tosses it around the room. Everything has a different meaning. And if you if you collar up that dog too soon, he won't learn how to communicate with you. And then you're going to be even a more miserable person than you were before. Dude. I love you. Thank you. Anyway, I do have to run. Thank you so much for watching me scream. This is why I cannot ever watch myself because it gets me so upset. I really do appreciate it. And if anyone is threatening you, we just all need to go in together and stick together because this is ridiculous. And that would be the eye. Someone asked, what eye would I give to Donna? I'd be like, I don't know what I would do. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. And it ends with a happy ending. Bye-bye. Damn.